My name is Santa Ono, and I am the President and Vice Chancellor of the University of British Columbia. Please join us in the singing of O Canada, led by our University Marshal Nancy Hermiston, Director of the Opera and Voice Program at the UBC School of Music. Please remove your caps. Thank you, Professor Hermiston. We respectfully acknowledge the Syilx Okanagan Nation and their peoples, in whose territory we stand and are gathered upon today. At this time, I would like to invite Amber Dinesh, member of the Okanagan Nation, to sing the Okanagan Song.
Oh
Thank you very much, Amber. Please be seated. Let us pause for a moment to give thanks, spiritual and temporal, for the manifold blessings that we share in this wonderful world, this great nation, this blessed province, this splendid university, these very proud students and their even prouder friends and family. We give thanks especially for this most joyous of occasions. Amidst this happy occasion, we pause to remember and reflect upon the 75th anniversary of the D-Day landings and the Battle of Normandy, where so many young Canadians and Allied soldiers fought and died for the freedoms and privileges we enjoy today. Please join me in a moment of silence in memory of them. Chancellor Gordon, honored guests, members of the Board of Governors, the Okanagan Senate, faculty, staff, alumni, and most especially you, our graduates, family, and friends, welcome to the UBC Okanagan campus. What an honor it is for me to be with you today to celebrate UBC's newest graduating class, the class of 2019. Let's hear it for them. I can tell you that this is one of the best parts of our job. Everyone on this podium looks forward to this day to participate in this joyful, momentous occasion, this milestone in your lives. This day, graduates, is all about you and what you have achieved through hard work, determination, and moments of creative inspiration. Graduation is a time to imagine your future and the world to come. And when you think about the road ahead, we hope that you will gain perspective for the time that you have spent here. And we hope that when you do look back at your time at UBC, that you will do so with fondness. And that when you look ahead, you will see UBC very much part of your future. You will always be welcome here, and we look forward to hearing about your personal and professional achievements as you build upon the foundation provided to you by your degree. We also hope to continue to engage with you as alumni as you travel forward to new adventures, to new corners of the globe. As you begin a new stage in your life and experience, you can be confident of one thing, and that is that you can and that you will make a difference. Because like graduates who have gone before you, who include 3 prime ministers, multiple Supreme Court justices, Nobel laureates, and stars in almost every field of human endeavor, you also possess the knowledge and the skills, the passion and the drive that is conferred to you not only by your education, but by the experiences that you've had while at university. In his address to UBC's very initial graduating class in 1916, UBC's first president, Frank Westbrook, encouraged students to make the world a better place in which to live, not only for themselves, but also for individuals they might not even encounter. Today, 103 years later, we echo those remarks. They are still part of the ethos of the institution. They're part of the collective DNA that makes UBC special. We believe that each and every one of you has the capacity and skill to succeed and indeed to make the world a better place in your own special way. Now, a couple of weeks ago, a student stopped me and asked me a question, and he said, I just wanted to talk to my university president before going out into the real world. And I was touched that the student wanted to have this conversation. He came into my office, and I said, you know, the real world is not that different from your world in university. There are some differences. There won't be as many people your age in one place, but you've actually experienced a lot of aspects of the real world while you're here at UBC. But he persisted and he said, I still want to talk to you and get some advice that I hopefully can take with me from this day forward. And so I said, I wasn't sure that I would be able to give you any special advice, but since you've asked twice, I'll do my very best. And I figured it was only fair for me to share the same advice with everybody who's graduating today. So this is what I said. I said, I'll be honest. Just like has been the case up until graduation day, after graduation day, you will still have good times and bad times. It's unavoidable. May you have many more good times than bad. But when life is challenging or your spirits might be down, try this. Close your eyes and think back to the first time you ever experienced something anew. Really try, humor me, and try, as I talk about different vignettes that have happened in most people's lives, really try and transport yourself emotionally to where you were back then. Try and feel what you felt then. For me, I'm a big fan of music. I like all kinds of music, pop music, classical music, jazz. And if I think back to the first time that I experienced music live, it was at the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts in Washington, D.C. I had the privilege of hearing the National Symphony Orchestra with Mstislav Rostropovich, a great cellist conducting that orchestra. It was very different from listening to music on mono radio or to listen to it on my father's old stereo where there were still record players and you listened to music. Not on an app, not even on a cassette or 8-track tape. You probably don't know what those things are. But on a vinyl record. Those are cool, I hear, and back in again. My father got one of those early stereos, and I promptly, at the age of 9 or something, scratched the record, and he came home and said, "Son, did you scratch the record?" And I said, "Yes." Well, that's how I listened to music first, before going to listen to music live. A real symphony orchestra live. I sat in one of the front rows, and it was amazing. Think back to your first time, whether it was classical music or whether it was Coldplay or Pat Metheny group. Think back to your first time. Think back to the first time that maybe you went to a Raptors game, or maybe the first time you went to see a NHL hockey game. Remember how little you were and you went with your mom or dad or your grandpa or grandma? How you walked up those steps and looked over and peered over and you saw this pristine ice and people moving faster than you thought was possible. First time you saw a big crowd and people cheering on the home team. For me, it was the Montreal Forum, and it was the year that Patrick Roy was a rookie goalie and they would go on to win the Stanley Cup. I'll never forget that time. Or think back to your first fireworks display. Remember how excited you were? Maybe you were on one of your parents' shoulders, way past your bedtime for the first time. You knew something was exciting. You were excited, but perhaps you were also scared. You were especially scared when you heard the first boom of the first fireworks exploding above, higher than you thought was possible, almost as high as the stars in the sky. Remember how mesmerized you were to see the shimmering lights above dancing in the summer sky? Perhaps fireflies blinking over the fields as you listened to music. Think back to the first time you rode your bike without training wheels. Remember how proud you were as you looked up from your seat. You were petrified, and perhaps your mom or dad were holding onto the bicycle seat, and they were petrified, just as petrified to let go because they didn't want to see you wipe out. But remember how proud you were when you were able to ride your bicycle for the first time without training wheels? Or think back to your first driver's license, that sense of liberation, that time-honored step towards adulthood, that rite of passage that might disappear with automated vehicles. Think back to that license. When I got that license, there was no internet. But you guys have grown up in the age of social media. Maybe you even took a picture of you with your driver's license and posted as your profile pic. Think back to your first kiss, Or maybe you want to forget that. Think back to the first time that you looked out of the window from a jet plane at the snow-capped mountains of Kelowna or the Okanagan, or witnessed the majesty of the Grand Canyon or the Niagara Falls, the Canadian side, of course. Think back to the first time you saw maybe Big Ben in London, or the Houses of Parliament, or the pyramids in Egypt. If you haven't done so, do so. But if you have, remember how amazing it was. Or if you're a scuba diver, think about the first time that you saw the stunning biodiversity of a coral reef, or the first time that you walked through a tropical rainforest with birds of amazing colors that you didn't even know exist, flying from branch to branch. Try to remember, most importantly, as you graduate, your sense of awe, the look of wide-eyed amazement as you experience for the first time the wonders of the world. I'll tell you that your parents and your grandparents and your older siblings will never forget that look of wide-eyed amazement. The reason why it makes sense and why people do this is that reliving those moments will bring a smile to your face, sunshine to a cloudy day. But beyond looking back, my advice to you is to always look forward to new firsts, to never ever lose that sense of adventure, that sense of wonder. When the world seems drab, as if everything is monochrome, or as if you're listening to something on a mono radio, that's precisely the time that you should push beyond your limits to experience anew the diversity of colors in this world, the diversity of places and people and beliefs, the magic of the world in stereo. You see, the sooner that you realize the bucket list of things to do in this world is actually infinite, the sooner you will realize that there is an endless list of first times for you. Endless opportunity to view the world with childlike wonder. And never, ever feel embarrassed about being childlike, because it is the secret of being forever young. You see, graduates, if you do that, you will live a rich and fulfilling life. Godspeed, stay in touch. We will be rooting for you every step of the way. Congratulations, class of 2019. Now, graduation at Convocation is a very special time. It's very special first and foremost because of you. But it's also special because universities bring very special people to graduate with you or to be honored with you on this day. UBC has the honor of bestowing honorary degrees to a very small number of select individuals who, in the opinion of the university community, have fit the criteria of excellence and eminence in their chosen field. Louis Kay exemplifies these characteristics, and I invite him now to step forward to receive his honorary degree. Mr. Chancellor, Dr. Louis Kay is widely known for his pioneering research in biochemistry and his role in developing modern nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy. After completing his Bachelor of Science degree at the University of Alberta, he went on to obtain his PhD in molecular biophysics from Yale University in New Haven in 1988, followed by postdoctoral studies at the National Institutes of Health in Bethesda. He returned to Canada in 1990 to accept a faculty position at the University of Toronto, where today he is a professor of molecular genetics, biochemistry, and chemistry, and a senior scientist in the molecular medicine program in Toronto's Hospital for Sick Children. His methods allow researchers to see how the shapes of molecules change over time, which has provided new insight into protein structure and function that are closely tied to human health and disease. It is essential to note that his open source approach to research has allowed hundreds of scientists, both in academia and industry, to use these methods developed by his team. Not surprisingly, his scientific papers are amongst the most highly cited in chemistry. His numerous awards include the Stacey Prize from the National Research Council of Canada and the Favell Medal from the Royal Society of Canada. A member of both the Royal Society of Canada and the Royal Society of London, he was recently named a Canada Gairdner International Award Laureate and is a Gerhard Herzberg Gold Medalist. He's a recipient in science and engineering, as well as an officer of the Order of Canada. Mr. Chancellor, in recognition of his vast achievements and contributions to medical research, I ask you to confer the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa upon Louis E. Kay.
By the authority of the Okanagan Senate of this university, I confer upon you, Louis E. Kay, the title and degree Doctor of Science honoris causa.
Class of 2019, please welcome your fellow graduate, Dr. Kay, to say a few inspirational words to you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chancellor, Professor Ono, Professor Buzzard, trustees, faculty members, parents, family and friends, and of course the class of 2019. I stand before you today with a little bit of trepidation. It's not because I'm afraid of public speaking, nor because I'm afraid of speaking to young people. I do that pretty much all the time. I tell them what they need to know to pass a test or how to solve a particular assignment problem. This situation, however, is very different. You've all passed tests and you've all solved particular assignment problems, albeit for the most part those that were solved by others before you. You are about to embark upon a journey that will chart new areas of challenge and provide you with much more difficult tests. I was once in your shoes. At my commencement at the University of Alberta some 36 years ago, I can only imagine that I too listened to some commencement speaker. If so, I remember absolutely nothing of what he or she might have said. And the same thing happened a few years ago when I received my doctorate at New Haven. I don't remember that speech either. And so recognizing that you will likely not remember anything that I say, I choose my words very carefully so that at least a few ideas might stick. Idea number one. You have just completed 4 years of an undergraduate education. You have mastered subject material, and you soon will have a piece of paper to supposedly prove it. But the reality is that within several years, you will forget many, if not most, of the subject details that you are now fluent with. You might even forget, God forbid, how to take an integral or how to balance a chemical reaction. You will forget the nuances of a novel that was once the basis of your best essay ever, or the economic details of some event that led to some important conflict between nations. In short, much of what you have deliberately and methodically studied in the past 4 years will be displaced. This begs the following question: what's the purpose of an education then? And here's the thing. An education is not about the facts that you once knew, nor all the A's that you once received on essays and tests. An education is not about the university nor your professors. An education is about you. An education gives you the ability to think. An education gives you the ability to educate and teach yourselves. An education allows you to evaluate arguments, to listen to discussions, and to formulate your own opinions based on a sense of confidence that you know that you can and that you are a valuable member of society. This is not insignificant. We live in a world that is increasingly cynical. Many of our leaders prefer intuitive responses rather than those based on scientific principles. In an era where negativity seems to be pervasive, where attacks on media are common, where somebody who looks different or prays different or believes different or thinks different is wrong, and where our leaders are increasingly anti those people who choose the thinking way, people like you are needed now more than ever. A proper education provides you with the ability to right wrongs, to think about things through on your terms, and to make proper choices based on rational thought. But with this ability comes a responsibility. You have to use your education. You have to be prepared to stand up and be counted. And importantly, you have to be prepared to put the time in to make a difference. Idea 2. Can any one person really make a difference? Well, what about Fred Banting, whose work in Toronto in the 1920s led to the discovery of insulin that has saved millions of lives? It all started with a few dogs, a poorly equipped, very small laboratory, and a good idea. Banting, by the way, had several university degrees. What about the physicist Bardeen, who along with 2 other colleagues invented the transistor? Without these small switches and amplifiers, computers would be the sizes of large buildings. And that smartphone that no doubt some of you are staring at right now, forget it, it wouldn't exist. Bardeen also had a university degree or 2. And how about Elon Musk? He has done all right with his economics and physics degrees from the University of Pennsylvania. And what about Donna Strickland? The work she did as a physics graduate student at the University of Rochester on high-power pulses for lasers won her the Nobel Prize in Physics this year, becoming only the 3rd woman to do so. And Donna, like you guys, did her undergraduate degree at a Canadian university. And then there's UBC's very own Michael Smith, a Nobel Prize winner who developed site-directed mutagenesis that changed the way that we look at protein molecules. So you see, you're all in very, very good company. Idea 3, be who you are, not what others want from you. Every person looks at a problem uniquely and differently and has something to contribute that's unique. There's nothing wrong with being outside the Gaussian, even by a few standard deviations. That just means that you're very, very special. Who makes the real changes in the world? It's those who are comfortable in their own skin. Choose small goals and work on them to completion. Make a list of what you want to do every day, and when you're done, be happy. Solve the problems that are the most important to you. And above all, don't try to choreograph where you're going. Life is an adventure, and you want to be open-minded about what it is telling you. In my laboratory, I continue to instruct my students that the machine we use, basically a glorified MRI for imaging biological molecules, that machine never lies. And it's important to listen to what the experiments are actually telling us. This holds true in all walks of life. Everything we do is some sort of experiment. And to move on in an intelligent manner, we have to stop and we have to listen. Idea 4, don't multitask. Ever tried to study for an exam and watch TV at the same time? How did that turn out? Or perhaps you prefer to search your cell phone as you engage somebody in conversation, or maybe look at your cell phone as you hear a convocation address. No, of course not you. So for your friends in the audience, let me give them a piece of advice. Psychologists have shown that when people attempt to complete many tasks at once, or even when they alternate rapidly between them, errors increase significantly, and it takes far longer, almost 2 times or 3 times more, to finish the job than if they essentially did things sequentially. Focus on the present and the task at hand. And if you're stuck, move on and then come back. And don't ever, ever give up. Some problems are really hard, and you need to continue to confront them for a long time. Trust me, when you solve the problem, it's a tremendous feeling. Idea 5, take time to smell the roses. There's this amazing story about the great violinist Joshua Bell. One wintry day in January a few years ago in Washington, D.C., he played in a subway for 45 minutes, and over this span collected a grand total of $30. Very few people stopped, although children were quite interested, but they were pulled away by their parents who were rushing to a particular appointment. When he packed up, there was no applause, no nothing. Think about it. One of the world's greatest musicians playing on a $3.5 million violin. That's 3.5 million US dollars. And only a few children actually stopped. If we don't have the time to truly appreciate random, amazing moments, if such things do not fit into our compact and complex schedules, then in the words of David Emery, who wrote about the story, what else are we missing in life? Always strive to retain an inner sense of curiosity like the children in this story. Take time to appreciate the finer things in life. Don't rush from home to work only to rush from work back to home a few hours later. Focus on the present and realize that what you don't finish today can wait until tomorrow. Work is very patient. It always waits for you. And besides, if you solve all your problems today, what possibly would you do tomorrow? Idea 6, start educating yourselves. Maybe for many of you, it's no more professors and no more tests. Well, guess what? Sorry about that, but now you are your professor, and every day will bring fresh tests. And I suspect that for some of you, you will be much tougher on yourselves than any of your professors ever were. And the tests that you will be faced with will be much more difficult than the 3-hour ordeals that you have recently completed. There is no syllabus for what you will do next, no textbook, and no tried and true path. For some of you, that sounds very scary. For others, invigorating. But remember, your education has prepared you for this future. 30 years ago, I became an assistant professor at the University of Toronto. I had spent most of my training developing a technique called nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy that enables scientists to peer into the inner workings of biological molecules like proteins. I was convinced that we had reached the end of technology development, that I would have to forgo my love of physics and focus merely on biological applications. But several weeks into the job, I got a new idea that led to new ways of looking at these fascinating molecules. The new ideas continue to flow some 3 decades later. We don't know our future, and we don't know our destiny. But with education, we can be confident that we can shape our lives for the better, and in so doing offer an amazing gift to the world, the gift of ourselves. Focused, intelligent, caring, and supportive members of society, striving to improve the world one grain of sand at a time. You are prepared, you are smart, and you are confident. Now go out and do great things. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kay. What a truly inspirational set of remarks. I'm Deborah Buzzard, and I have the privilege of being the principal of this beautiful Okanagan campus of UBC. And welcome to all of you, and particularly to our graduating class. Congratulations. It's finally here. It's a tremendous achievement. You must be very proud of what you have done so far. The habits and skills that you've acquired here, along with your disciplinary degree, are what you will take out into the world. But as Dr. Kay has said, a degree doesn't just demonstrate your tenacity, your ability to get good grades or to qualify for a job. Much more importantly, it qualifies you to live a thoughtful life, one of perception, insight, and most importantly, rationality. It gives you the tools to flourish wherever you may go. And as I look out at you, our graduating class of 2019, I am struck by your collective power as a force for positive change. And yes, you and I know there is much work to do. Challenges, opportunities that we could simply not have imagined even a decade ago. But I am absolutely sure you have all of the tools that you need and all of the characteristics to step up and make a positive and enduring difference in the world. And indeed, you have demonstrated this in a very real way here. And I want to just use this example to show you what you individually and collectively can do. In 2014, and please just raise your hand if you were a student here in 2014, some of you, yes. We were critically short of study space on campus, you may remember, and you undertook, as students, a referendum to vote on something that we called More Library. Led by our librarian, Heather Berenger, and others, you collectively ran a campaign, and you all committed that students on this campus would contribute an amount, I think it's about $75 a year. But you've been contributing to that fund since 2014. And for some of you, that means for your entire career here as students. This year, in January, we opened the Commons. You are contributing, and you have contributed to that building. The total commitment from students will amount to $10 million over time. That commitment has totally changed this campus, hasn't it? I'll bet that many of you were studying in some of those fabulous new study rooms. You were working there in some of the quiet spaces. You were benefiting from that extraordinary renovation of the existing library and that fantastic new study space. It's an amazing change for this campus, and you made that happen. And that's the power of you as individuals and collectively as a class. So from future generations, I say thank you for what you have made happen here. And I want you to remember as you go out into that next phase of your life, the collective power that you can have if you believe in something and if you commit to making it happen. And that new building will be here forever. So I'd like to ask for a round of applause to thank our amazing students for making that happen. It's really a gift to UBC, and you made that. Graduation does not mean goodbye. As you leave here, we hope that you will continue to be involved in the life of the university. On September the 28th, we will be hosting our second annual homecoming weekend for alumni, and we look forward to welcoming you all back as our newest UBC Okanagan alumni. Never before has a graduating class gone out into a world where such sweeping changes are happening, from the very nature of work, geopolitics, the environment, even our ability to understand and influence the world around us. But be confident that you have the capacity to cope, indeed thrive, and be a positive force in all of this change. I have every confidence that your education and experiences here have positioned you for the brightest of futures. Universities are defined by their impact on the world, and our graduates are the way that we have impact. We look forward to watching where you will go as you make your mark in the world through the rest of your lives. Congratulations and well done, class of 2019. And now, I am pleased to call upon Tyler Mccrae, a member of your class, to make remarks. Tyler.
Thank you, Professor Buzzard, Mr. Chandler, honored guests, and fellow graduates. We are here today to congratulate the grad class of 2019. On behalf of Alumni UBC, I am happy to welcome you into the alumni family. You now belong to a community of changemakers and leaders that is more than 350,000 strong. Graduates like you who are looking to make a positive difference in the world. After the ceremony, you can visit the Alumni Welcome Tent to see what it means to be a new member of the alumni family. The meaning of the alumni family has been passed down through generations, especially for me. You see, my grandfather graduated from UBC in 1961, and my father in 1994. Believe it or not, I had two of the same professors that my dad had when he was in university. I am honored to follow in their footsteps, to know that we have taken the same journey, just at different times. And that is something all of us in this room share today. At some point, we all decided we wanted to pursue science. Whether we wanted to better understand the world or make the world a better place, or just wanted to understand glacial recession or what causes earthquakes, we all chose to take this journey. And I imagine we probably all started off in a similar place, showing up eagerly on our first day, planning our degrees, and hoping for the best. In my case, I didn't have any idea what I wanted to do when I first got here. I didn't even know you had to choose a major. There were times when I wasn't sure if I could make it to my destination. My first semester here was nonstop assignments, pre-lab, midterms, and lab reports. After the first round of midterms, I had no idea how anyone made it through all 4 years. I am sure every one of us can remember wanting to quit. Many of us can remember a time where we may have even shed a tear or two. But the thing we all have in common is that we didn't give up. Somehow, we found a way through the storm of crazy workloads, late nights, and semesters that seem both never-ending and gone too quickly. We rose up and persevered through these seemingly impossible challenges. We did it with our own determination and drive to keep going, to succeed. It is this drive that will allow our graduating class to make positive impacts on our world and allow us to excel in whatever we choose to do, whether it is professional or academic. But let's remember that we could not have made it this far without the support from our family, friends, and professors. Upon our arrival at UBCO, we carried the aspiration and dedication of those who helped us through our childhoods and years in high school. And they continued to support us in this new adventure. During our time at UBCO, we have developed new connections with professors, mentors, faculty, and friendships that will last for life. Many of these friendships started simply. It might have been the first person to sit beside you in a lab, or the first person to smile at you in a class. Since then, there have been road trips on reading break, ski trips, club events, warm days in the courtyard, and of course, the occasional pub crawl. So many memories we will never forget. I don't know all of you, but I know that for you to cross this stage today, you have achieved something big. The kind of journey we have been on is no walk in the park. It takes hard work, dedication. It takes commitment for years of your life. It takes the kind of person our world needs. Our generation faces so many global challenges, including climate change, food and water security, and poverty. These issues are not easy to solve, but when you bring together all the different disciplines of science, from chemistry, biology, and environmental science, to physics, math, and computer science, you create a powerful team of people. Because of what we have learned here, because of the people we have become here, we are the ones who will help our generation tackle the challenges facing our world and leave it a better place. This is what I am most excited about today. The road that got us here was amazing, challenging, life-changing, but is nothing compared to the road we have in front of us. Congratulations, grad class of 2019.
Thank you, Taylor. I now ask Dr. Ananya Mukherjee-Reid, Provost and Vice President Academic of the Okanagan Campus, to introduce the Award for Teaching Excellence and Innovation. Professor Mukherjee-Reid.
It is my pleasure to introduce the Award for Teaching Excellence and Innovation. This award, including a $3,000 prize, recognizes outstanding teachers at the Okanagan campus, as nominated by students, faculty colleagues, and alumni. The award highlights the importance of teaching in creating an outstanding student experience. At this time, I would like to announce the recipient of the Award for Teaching Excellence and Innovation this year, Dr. Andis Kligeris. Dr. Kligeris was unable to join us at the ceremony today, but I will read his citation in his absence, as many of his colleagues and students are present. Dr. Kligeris is known for being a dynamic and effective mentor and teacher. His colleagues and students alike commend his innovative, large classroom, problem-based learning approach to undergraduate education, which requires active participation and extensive problem-solving by students. In this unique approach, Professor Kligeris effectively delivers course material alongside fostering valuable skills such as critical thinking, problem-solving, and teamwork, something that a former student noted as one of the most useful skills I gained in my undergraduate degree. He's a leading researcher in neurobiology and trains a substantial number of graduate and undergraduate students in an outstanding mentorship environment. Professor Kligeris has supervised 33 undergraduate students in 72 different research assistantships, honors projects, and directed studies at UBC Okanagan, in addition to PhD and MSc students, postdoctoral fellows, and research assistants. He's committed to his students' success and offers them writing experience on peer-reviewed publications. It is no surprise that many students pursue further education in his field of research. Beyond the campus, Dr. Kligeris continuously exchanges ideas about improving undergraduate learning and has shared his problem-based learning technique with more than 10 different universities in 7 countries. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Andis Kligeris.
Thank you. Now, we're getting to the real business of the day. Will the candidates for degrees please rise? That's you. Mr. Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting the candidates for degrees who have successfully completed their studies and fulfilled the conditions that the university has set for them. The Okanagan Senate of this university recommends them to you for the degrees that will be announced by the representative of the faculty. As each degree is officially conferred, the Dean of the Faculty, and in the case of graduate students, the Dean of the College of Graduate Studies will congratulate the student. Sadif Katabi and Nishat Tasnim, members of the alumni community, will welcome each student to the Alumni Association and present them with a handbook. The candidates will please be seated. Thank you.
Presenting to you the candidates for the degree Doctor of Philosophy. Dinesh Adhikari. Dr. Adhikari helped sequence the genome for amaranth, an ancient protein-rich crop. He developed a new tool to study gene function in order to understand the physiological role of betalains, which are pigments made from amaranth. Dr. Adhikari used the genetic tools and resources he developed to test whether betalains increased plant resistance to UVB stress and oxidative damage. The results will support crop improvement of amaranth. Dr. Adhikari. Mehrabad Estaki. Dr. Estaki's research examined the role of physical activity on inflammatory bowel diseases such as ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. His work showed that physical activity could alter the overall composition of gut bacteria and reduce intestinal inflammation, thereby leading to improved disease symptoms. Dr. Estaki. Elizabeth Margaret Mudge. Dr. Mudge evaluated the chemical variation of cannabis strains to determine the impacts of breeding and domestication. By combining in-depth chemical characterization and advanced data analysis algorithms, she was able to find a loss of chemical diversity in relation to potency and aroma. Her research also highlighted a biochemical link between different chemical classes, which may impact pharmacological effects of different strains. Dr. Mudge. Matthew Newstaden. Dr. Newstaden studied smoke taint, a smoke and ashy taste and aroma in wines made from grapes exposed to forest fire smoke. Understanding smoke taint is critical to the global wine industry, as it can ruin entire grape crops and is expected to get worse as climate change increases the number and severity of forest fires. Dr. Newstaden's work improved the understanding of chemical changes in grapes and wine after smoke exposure, especially in the Okanagan Valley of British Columbia. Dr. Newstaden's findings are now being used to develop methods to protect grapes from the effect of smoke and to test ways of minimizing smoke taint in wines. Dr. Newstaden. Chang Lee. Dr. Lee explored the effects of forest cover on water availability in British Columbia. He found that deforestation increases water yield with more pronounced impacts in larger watersheds. His studies provided critical information for managing and protecting watershed function and service in the context of future forest and climate change. Dr. Lee. Mr. Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting to you the candidates for the degree Master of Science. Geet Kamal Kaur Hans. Diana Marie Pasquale. Carmen Christine Chelik. Tirhas Mibratu Gerbetsadikan. Melissa Marianne Larrabee. Brian Thayer Muzel. Joshua Smith. Corina Nicole Thompson. Hossein Khalili An. Yusuf Murad. David Scott MD. Adriana Johnson. Carly Dawn LeBerge. Awantika Mittal. Maria Elizabeth Lynn Plimley. Mr. Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting to you the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science. Valentina Rigimba. Manroop Sohal. Mitchell Sean Figura. Lena Bauer. Adrian Monthoni. Gabriel Adrian Zavala Dominguez. Min An. Sydney Taylor Fernley. Mr. Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting to you the University of British Columbia Medal in Science, Head of the Graduating Class, Alexander Garner. Makoto Kishida. Nicole Skidmore. Rutanen Chancham Charut. Sarah Kennedy. Dalina Lee. Jeannie Wei Lee. Alexandra McGregor. Melissa Ann Montemuro. Larissa Tross. Amanda Derbyshire. Kieran Avlonitis. Leland Burney. Daniel Chad Colton. Nathan Forrest Cridland. Andrew Frederick. Morgan E. Gray. Jessica Harrison. Ashley Nicole Harridge. Joelle Haida. Selena Lee. Angela Chow Liu. Emily May Manzer. Kennedy Owen. Drake Poirier. Taylor Lynn Sauter. Lindsay Swanson. Jaden Kevin Whitmore. Nora Melissa Perea Garcia. Shelby Lynn Cole. Annick Langlois. Brittany Ann Kalibaba. Vinny Chavla. Chuk Mun Fung. Diane Lee. Catherine Elizabeth Grace Plymley. Jonathan Wu. Sophia Bulcock. Megan Blair Marzinzik. Katie Stein. Jennifer Rice. Danya Hatami. Mackenzie Campbell. Laura Rebecca Loverock. Sarah Prophet. Allison Dick. Alicia Ahuja. Abigail Joy Baker. Kennedy Baldo. Rebecca Lillian Bauhaus. Rachel Gabriella Brass. Tatiana Chaland. Shivangi Chopra. Courtney Dirks. Brandon Dwernichuk. Wendy Huang. Jeremiah Hislop. Kyle Kinnunen. Joshua Livingston. Megan Elizabeth Love. Thomas Allen Marjoribanks. Nicole McGinn. Monique Niger. Taylor Ostras. Serena Panu. Cortland Proctor. Charmaine Shamiso Reva. Jasmine Saini. Tadiwanashe Shava. Jennifer Sprescher. Shauna Stewart. Catherine Stoneman. Dustin Thomas Stranks. Megan Tung. Emile Vanderpool. Brittany Weber. Aiden Wilson. Adalyn Yo. Carly Sarah Michelle Burns. Lena Campagnaro. Hillary Gould. Tristan Wheeler. Tanaka Willard Zirewa.
Sierra Grace Collins. Deirdre Nelson Smith. Georgia Taylor Mccrae. Jillian Ashbury. Aiden Bashir. Mario Belmonte Moreno. Colby Brian Braken. Mitchell Corbett. Aidan Dinwoody. Jordan Field. Ethan Lawrence Ferd. Namulin Gantuga. Derek Grover. Chuck Holy. Katie Laurel Mallard. Suzanne Elizabeth Zbrola. Yuji Sima. Stephen Franco Tostenson. Bevan Wood. Willis Wayhave Ewan. Jordi Lavalle. Joelle Monahan. Shauna Scarth. Ian Byron Sinclair. Lindsay Ackinger. Gina Jing Ching So. Kailin Adan. Marc Lacroix. Rachel Moffat. Alex Oreo. James Pang. Joshua Pinchuk. Madison Reardon. Derek Riggs. Anthony Tardif. Alexander Triff. Brent Leshuk. Shelby Legebogov. Ben Derashi. Dustin Brendan Gamble. Samuel Ross Joseph Grenier. Bori Kim. Dalton Werner. John Hume. April Mayovlik. Brianne Newman. Omer Riyad. Nicole M. Brumwell. Timothy Chung. Tushar Dave. Conor D. Mello. Celine Marcella Edwards. Mackenzie Moraji. Juliana Gonzato. Jalen Taylor Graham. Victor Luhar. Matthew Todd Heyman. Hema Victoria Hilton. Michelle Wang. Yu Young Kelvin Lee. Thomas Matthews. Song Kyu Park. Tia Patichuk. Hannah Studdard. Jessica Lynn Webb. Stepan Zayats. J. Morgan Loudon. Natasha Edsel. Katrine Faye Karen Jensen. Juliana Banu. Nathan Gibson Early. Edita Drylow. Rachel Eisenberg. Brittany Susanna Irene Eimerld. Jessica Violet Hummel. Jenna Christine Schreger. Mackenzie Ann Sharp. Alisa Smart. Emily Wolf. Crimson Christina Edwards.
Will all the graduates please rise? For those graduates who've crossed the stage today, as well as those who were unable to make today's ceremony, I hereby admit you to the convocation of UBC. Congratulations. As Chancellor, it's been my privilege and great honor to preside over today's ceremony. You've all invested a huge amount of hard work, determination, focus to reach this milestone in your life, your graduation. You've had a lot of support along the way, and many of those supporters, your friends, your family, your peers, they're in this room today to celebrate with you. So I think this would actually be a great moment for you to turn around and show your appreciation for all those who've supported you along the way. Let's give them a huge round of applause. And how about a big round of applause for the faculty on stage for all their support? So having crossed this stage today, you are now members of the Convocation, and you are in good company. Since UBC first began granting degrees in 1916, generations of students, just like you, have crossed the stage, just like this one, to receive their degrees, and they've gone on to help build our community and shape our society. As alumni, your relationship with UBC is beginning anew, and you can maintain your voice in the affairs of the university through your elected members of Senate, perhaps by mentoring one of today's students, or by participating in one of the many volunteer activities that UBC hosts both here at home and abroad. And as lifelong learners, you will always be welcome to come back here and take a course or two. You might want to take a short break before you do that, but you will always be welcome to come back. And I do encourage you to stay involved with the university because you still have much to offer UBC, just as UBC still has much to offer you. So tuum est, congratulations once again, and please be seated.
Thank you, Chancellor. Just let me take this opportunity to thank Chancellor Lindsay Gordon for presiding over this ceremony, and also our President, Santa Ono, for joining us here in the Okanagan for this important celebration. You know that normally they reside in that other campus. Please, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings our ceremony to a close. Thank you so much for joining us all today. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and that all of you will be able to join us for refreshments, which will be served immediately after this ceremony in the courtyard at the alumni tent. Our guests are kindly requested to remain in their places until the academic procession have left the building. But before we begin the procession, we have one more big moment. And parents, family, and friends, this is the big photo op. So get your cameras ready. It's the time-honored tradition known as the cap toss. You have been waiting years to do this. Your parents have been waiting maybe decades to see you do this, dreaming of the day. So, the key to a successful cap toss is synchronization and altitude. Note, we have a high ceiling. Please feel free to go for it. I will leave the altitude to you, but to ensure that we are all in sync, I'm going to lead you with a prompt. Will the graduates please rise to prepare for the toss? No premature decapitulation. Remove your caps, hold them in your hand, and in a moment I'm going to wish you one final congratulations on behalf of the University of British Columbia. And when I say that word Columbia, you We'll toss your caps as high into the air as you wish, and parents, you'll start snapping video or photos. Is everyone ready? Yes. Mr. Chancellor, President, dignitaries, family and friends, join me in congratulating one more time the 2019 graduates of the University of British Columbia.